The year is 1968. NASA was only 10 years old, and for the first time, a spacecraft had orbited the moon. The computers of the time were still the size of rooms and looked vastly different from the ones we are accustomed to today. Remember, Steve Jobs is only 13 years old at this point, and it would take him another 8 years before he even founded Apple. The sci-fi movies of the time looked like this. And in the same year, 2001, A Space Odyssey was released, and it looked like this. It's clear this movie was far ahead of its time. It predicted FaceTime long before computers could even fit on desks. Mind-blowing CGI for the time and the meticulous shot composition of Stanley Kubrick make almost every frame of this movie a masterpiece of its own. This, along with its use of sound, clever editing, and ingenious patterns in the plot, deeply connect the movie to core aspects of humanity, making the movie one of the most timeless films of all time, but also one immensely let down by its ending and message. To start, let's take a look at the body of 2001, A Space Odyssey. Number 1. Evolution. The first backbone of the movie is the patterns in its famous match cuts. We see the same shots of the black box with the same composition and same music playing in the background every time the humans evolve. The moon in the first scene and the earth in the second show how much the humans have evolved and how the black box marks a significant moment in human evolution. So basically, Kubrick uses music and match cuts to mark the significant parts in human evolution. Number 2. Story. In each of the 3 parts in the movie, there is territorial conflict. For example, the monkeys fighting over water, the cosmonaut being abrasive, and Hal killing some of the astronauts. Basically, the 3 parts explore how humans of the time deal with war and what part technology plays in it. Speaking of technology, number 3. Technology. In each of the 3 evolutionary stages, Kubrick has to introduce the technology of the time. He does so beautifully with the first 2, using montages of the pigs dying to show us the significance of the bone, and by using montages of outer space to show us the use and significance of the spaceships. Now to the last tool, Hal. Kubrick uses clever shot composition in the shots where the audience is literally seeing through Hal's lens. It's a very specific fisheye lens shot that is done to subconsciously connect the audience's emotions to Hal. Eventually, when Dave has to kill him, the song he sings as he dies is Daisy Bell, which is the first song ever sung by a computer in 1961 by the IBM 7094 to allow Dave, or the human, to continue evolving. Up to this point, basically every shot had meaning in its composition, editing, soundtrack, and answers 3 questions for each stage of evolution, which sets up the ending of the movie to answer the questions: 1. What does a fully evolved society look like? 2. How are conflicts dealt with in a fully evolved society? 3. What part does technology play in a fully evolved society? The movie sets itself up to answer what a perfect society might look like. Kubrick sets himself up to answer these questions and paint a future for humanity to strive for. Then, in the final scenes of the movie, Dave gets old and sees the final black box. He reaches out to the box as a reference to the creation of Adam. Then we get this wonderful setup with reference to the music from the beginning of humanity, and it's garbage. Instead of a perfect society, we got a wishy-washy garbled mess of color vomit and a space baby? The 2 ending scenes with the colorful videos of landscapes and the star baby are meant to have no meaning. They don't answer any of the 3 backbone questions because they don't include any of the famous match cuts, repeated music, beautifully composed shots, or any mention of wars. These scenes are designed to be meaningless, which totally ruins all the setup to it. It doesn't use any of the questions in the incredible setup of the first parts of the movie to make any kind of powerful statement. This is why there are so many interpretations of this movie's meaning. It's because the movie never had a purpose in the first place. The end has no meaning and says nothing about life, which makes all the setup worthless. Many people defending this movie point to Kubrick's genius in filming and directing. And while I totally agree Kubrick's work on this movie is absolutely incredible, all of it's meaningless, completely worthless because the movie has nothing to say, no message, nothing to inspire with. What's the point of the film if the audience doesn't learn anything? It's like a beautiful painting of nothing. Its beauty can't make up for its lack of meaning. This film's ending was so frustrating for me to watch because it basically consists of Kubrick fumbling the greatest play of all time. The film is so close to greatness, so close. There may never be a greater opportunity for any one person to make such a powerful and impactful statement than with Stanley Kubrick and A Space Odyssey. In total, 2001: A Space Odyssey is a magnificently eloquent essay with no thesis, leaving it to drift the screens of moviegoers till the end of time, like an Odyssey with no end.